The war in West Asia is all about the Strait of Hormuz now. US and Iran have been ramping up attacks against each other to assert control over the strait, threatening a return to all-out war. Tehran believes it oversees the strait and has signaled its intention to levy fees on vessels transiting through the route. On Monday, President Trump sought to tilt the balance. He reimposed a blockade on Iran and declared that the United States has full control of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump also said Washington would charge ships for safe passage through the waterway. Trump is also demanding that Gulf allies reimburse the U.S. for the costs of securing the strait. He specifically named Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain and Kuwait as countries that need to pay. The world has long considered the strait, which passes the coastlines of Iran and Oman, a free-to-use international waterway. Now both Iran and the U.S. want to control it and toll it. Iran says its parliament is already working on legislation aimed at securing the strait. Ibrahim Azizi, head of the Iran's Parliament National Security Committee, said Tehran remains unwavering in defending its red lines, particularly when it comes to the management of the waterway. Iran's message came hours after the American president declared that the U.S. will be the guardian of the Strait of Hormuz.
Will become the guardian of the strait. Maybe we'll call it the guardian angel of the strait. And we should be reimbursed for that. When we do that, we're going to be reimbursed because the other nations are very wealthy. They're on our side. And we can't be expected to do that for nothing, unlike we had for many years. You know, we guarded the strait for 50 years more, and we never got paid for it. They made all the money, and the United States was just, they wouldn't. It's amazing. We never made, we guarded it for nothing. And now we're going to guard it, and we're going to get paid for guarding it, a lot of money. But we just want to be reimbursed for doing all of this, for putting our people in danger. But we're really not putting people, we're really saving people.
Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi was quick to use Trump's own words to mock him and legitimize Iran's position. He wrote on X, and I quote, "Porters is absolutely right. Whoever provides secure and safe passage of commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz should be compensated for this service. Iran has always been the guardian of the strait and will remain so forever." Araghchi then added 20% is of course too much. Brazil's President Lula da Silva took a harsher tone, accusing the United States of turning into a pirate state. He called the plan neither democratic nor civilized, saying it is abnormal to profit from a crisis at others' expense. The new U.S. plan echoes an earlier Iranian claim that said it might charge tolls that could reach as high as $2 million per vessel. The U.S. then opposed it. Hormuz Strait carries close to a fifth of the world's oil and LNG trade. Any toll, whether from Washington or Tehran, becomes a tax on global energy markets raised on nations who have zero to say on it. According to the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, established in 1982, no country has the right to claim international waters, and all ships have the right to unimpeded passage. Still, both Iran and the U.S. have been using tools to exert control over the strait and constrain traffic. We earlier spoke to Dr. Volker Stanzel. He's a former German ambassador to China, senior distinguished fellow at the German Institute for International and Security Affairs, and this is what he told us.
Well, are you asking who has the power to control it or who has a law on their side? I think the second question is very easy to reply to, because you have quoted yourself the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which does not give authority over straits just like that in Hormuz, but also like Malacca or Taiwan or so to anyone, because that is the right of every country that is partner to the convention to use freely. So this is quite clear. As we know, in the United States, there is not much sympathy for the war, even less so for continuing the war once it had been started. No, American people would have their president to terminate the war. And indeed, Trump has tried to achieve that. But the compromises he wanted to achieve had not been reacted to positively by the Iranians. So there was no way to move ahead. On the other side, you have the Iranians. The Iranians suffer economically tremendously, of course, because of the war, but not only because of the war, but also because of the policy the Iranian regime pursues. So the Iranians must have an interest in coming to some kind of terms with the United States. However, as they now have the weapon of control over the Strait of Hormuz in their hands, they will try to use that strength they have as long as is possible until Donald Trump agrees to something, some sort of compromise like the one they already thought they had achieved not so long ago.